Lemon Amiga presents a Playthru video review. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hi, welcome to another Lemon Amiga gameplay review. This time we'll be taking a look at the 1991 conversion of the Bomberman franchise, released in Europe as Dynablaster on the Amiga, originally created for the TurboGrafx 16 platform in 1990 by Hudson Soft. So let's start the single player mode and we'll go through what it's all about. The game opens with this very simple graphic animation. We can see the white Bomberman and the black Bomberman. The black Bomberman successfully kidnapped the daughter of your inventor, and it's your job to track the inventor's daughter down to the black Bomberman's castle, which is quite a distance away. Between here and there you will have to negotiate quite a large number of levels, so let's dive into level 1 and let's see what this game is all about. As the white Bomberman, you only have one method of defense or attack, which is the bomb. The bomb will start pretty limited in blast range and effectiveness, and it will also have a timer of about 5 seconds, which you will have to make sure you're out of range of that bomb blast when the time runs out, otherwise you will drop a life. So the aim of each level is to destroy a series of characters inhabiting the level. You'll also be able to use your bombs to blow a series of blocks, hidden behind one of which is a bonus power-up, and hidden behind a second is the exit, and I haven't found either to begin with. You can either blow up all the blocks to find the bonuses, and there you go, I found the first bonus. That is a yellow fire icon which extends the blast range of your bomb by a square, which means you can hit more in the vicinity. And that's the first enemy disposed of. When all 3 enemies disappear, you will then have no limitations to your manoeuvring around the level, and all you have to do is to kill those guys, find the exit, and to exit onto the next level. This first level is all on one screen, which makes it really easy to navigate, and the only difficulty is timing those bomb blasts so they remove not only the blocks that you wish to get rid of, but also the enemies as well. The enemies start off really easy, and at this stage they actually avoid the bomb blasts rather than coming to attack the player, which they do on later levels. And now finally I've managed to find the blue exit. All that remains is me to clear the last few blocks to release the enemies, and it's on to the next level. You'll notice that you'll gain a little score by disposing of the enemies, but you won't get anything by removing the blocks. The blocks are just there as a hindrance, so there really is nothing to be gained by clearing the level. As soon as you've disposed of the last enemy, there he is, the exit will flash if you have found the exit. If not, it's your job to find it, and then we'll just clear this level just to prove that you don't get any extra score by doing that, and exit the level. Level 2 starts off where level 1 finished on a single screen full of blocks and enemies, and you'll find that on every level the game will introduce a new type of enemy. On this level it's this one, the pink blob, which you can get rid of in the same manner as the rest of these guys. It's pretty important to make sure that you don't back yourself into a corner with these bombs, because at this stage you can't move past through bombs. You will ultimately pick up an upgrade which will allow you to pass through not only bombs, but there's also an upgrade which allows you to pass through scenery, and there's also an upgrade which allows you to pass through the bomb explosions, giving you partial invulnerability. So I'm just biding my time on this level. There is a timer you can see on the top of the screen, and this will count down. The timer is quite lenient, and now that I've destroyed those guys, it's actually showing me where the bonus item is. So if I destroy this block, I'll find a bomb in there, which now allows me to plant 2 bombs. 1, 2. So this means I've doubled the firepower. Every level will give you some kind of bonus, and after passing through 10 or 15 of those levels, you might have picked up 6 or 7 extra bombs and extra bomb strength and all kinds of things. And so the levels continue. So let's take a look at some of the later ones. This pickup, the heart, does something actually really special. That icon actually gives you the ability to trigger the bombs with the spacebar. So as you can see, nothing is happening with those bombs. They will not tick down unless you press the spacebar, and when that occurs, you will then be able to trigger them remotely. 1, 2. And this comes in handy when you are trying to time explosions in the face of enemies. So let's try that out. Level 1.5 introduces the player to a much larger level with a variety of new enemies, and now that I've picked up the remote trigger mechanism, I can now wait for this enemy to come to me, which isn't always an easy experience. There you go, press space and he dies, which means now I can time the bombs at my convenience. Obviously it's important not to touch the enemies, and sometimes they will back you into corners and chase you around the level. But on this first section, level 1, you don't find any of those guys, so it's a simple matter of planting those bombs, timing them, or pressing space here to get rid of them. So the scrolling aspect, it's very smooth, and the levels are maybe 2 or 3 times larger than the single screen variety that we found at the beginning of the game. And another benefit of the timed bomb response is you don't have to time your maneuvers like you did before. So let's see, we've now destroyed all the enemies, and what's this? Which is the bomb traveller icon, which means I can now travel straight through my own bombs. I still have to watch out for their explosions, of course, but I can now move straight through those. On the next level we find another unique character. You can see him there, that's the purple devil. And what this devil will be able to do is to move through solid blocks. So while we can now move through our own bombs, the devil can evade our explosions simply by moving straight through the scenery, which makes him quite difficult to get rid of. And moving down the level we also see a red creature, and these creatures are kind of like homing missiles that will track you down throughout the level, and what you have to do is you have to lure those guys in by staying near the bomb, and then just at the right moment we have the remote bomb triggering mechanism, so we can then get rid of the guys that way. After 8 levels we get to the end of level bonus screen, this one featuring the dragon on the first level, and just like the other levels, except this time you don't have any annoying blocks to get rid of, but there are no bonus items on these sections either. The aim is to remove both the dragon and any enemies which might be lying around, and as soon as you do this, the exit will then open, which allows you to go through onto the next stage. So I'm luring the dragon over my bombs because I have picked up the remote bomb trigger. I'm triggering them remotely, and sometimes pressing space to do this is very, very convenient. You can make timing to perfection. Sometimes, if you're not too handy with the keyboard, lunging for the spacebar isn't the most opportune way of getting rid of enemies when you're also trying to use the joystick to maneuver around the level. But here we go, we've more or less got rid of that guy now. Let's just get rid of the dragon, hopefully, and then head on down towards the other guys. So again, the time limit doesn't exist. The 3 minutes that it gives you to complete these levels is more than adequate, and destroying the last guy there reveals the exit, and this time we move on to another world. On the second world, or second section of levels, we find they begin pretty much similar to the first one, and at this stage you might be thinking that the game becomes rather repetitive, and I suppose it is. There's the same blocks to remove, the same dumb enemies to time your explosions against, the same pickups, the same exit to exit the level. But don't be fooled, it's easy to be blocked into a corner, it's easy to rush these levels and catch yourself out, and the player starts with a basic 2 lives, which is fine if you don't lose any, but losing 2 lives isn't particularly hard on this game. So we're down to 1 already, as you can see on the top corner, and that's another explosion extender, which means the explosion will now extend even further, and as you can see, picking up bomb extensions and extra bombs can mean avoiding those bomb blasts is maybe a little more tricky, particularly with lots of enemies on screen. So let's skip through this level. The icon I've just picked up there is actually a bomb blast fireproof mechanism, which means the bomb blasts won't destroy me anymore, and I can also travel through my own bombs, but unfortunately it still doesn't protect me against the enemies. And looking again on some of the later levels, the scrolling returns, the enemies become slightly more tricky, slightly more numerous, and only really the red devils and the red creatures there are the ones to look out for. So let's skip through the levels, eventually find side-scrolling levels as well, which are again 3 screens long. Doesn't really add much to the formula, and this really is a formulaic game, but at least the extra width helps. And here we are again at the end of section bonus stage, and on this section, instead of the dragons, we find these spongy pink blobs which we must remove. Care must be taken, of course, to time those blasts perfectly. If you don't, you'll be in trouble. But that's basically it. So let's skip through this level and check out the third world of this Bomberman clone, which is the water level. on this stage it features the usual array of traps and treasures, the same guys, the same blocks, the same scrolling, the same levels. Only this time the player gets to wade through water. There are side-scrolling horizontal levels, there are vertical scrolling levels too, and as I said before, the simpleness belies the fact that you can get stuck and you can waste lives needlessly if you don't plot the way around the level conveniently. And this is the end of level bosses, plural, on the third stage. A couple of dragons this time, which you have to get rid of, and one red devil. So yeah, timing is crucial, plotting the way around the levels is crucial, and it can be easy to rush into making mistakes on the easy level. Either the enemies block you into a corner, or you plant a bomb before and behind you, which has the effect of destroying you. Let's have a look at World 4. On this stage we see the forest level. Vertical scrolling, same as before. So yeah, plotting the level. So sometimes Dynablaster becomes more of a strategy game, knowing where to plant the bombs and when to time the bombs, and knowing which blocks to blow up, which enemies to release. For example, sometimes the enemies will be trapped inside a set of blocks, and you can leave them harmlessly existing on their own until the end of the level, and then you release the blocks to release the enemy and take them on. Some of the enemies are free roaming, some pass straight through the scenery. So this is the bonus stage of this level. This time we find a blue ghost which takes multiple hits to destroy, and not particularly very hard, these bonus levels, though I do like the music. So let's skip on through. Round 5 is the mountain section. There are 6 sections in the game, so this is the penultimate section. Pretty similar, only this time the enemies become much more intelligent. You will see the one there on the top level, he's trapped in the scenery, but if you release the enemy, he'll act as a homing missile and will track you down all over the level. So, and the red guys as well there, they will find you and track you down, so it's best to leave those trapped in the scenery until you really need them, and destroy the other guys, the easier guys. You'll notice I've discovered the blue exit already, and one thing I haven't mentioned, if you inadvertently destroy, or should I say blow up a bomb next to the exit, and the bomb blast hits the exit, you'll find many more enemies pour out of there, maybe 4 or 5 extra enemies, which, as you can imagine, make the levels much harder. And let's have another look at the bonus stage. On this section it's much easier if you destroy everything pretty quickly before they spawn and start moving around the level. Apart from that, everything's pretty much the same. So let's skip on through to the final section of the game, Scenario 6, which finds us actually in the castle itself. The big difference on this level is you are able to traverse the blocks. Doesn't matter whether you've picked up the icon or not to do this. The blocks are supposed to be brick walls, but to me they actually look like shredded cereal. Let's just destroy those blocks. There are a number of different enemies there, each more deadlier than the last, and they will follow you around the level. But apart from that, the levels are quite formulaic. let's just nip in there and destroy this guy, seeing as we can move through the scenery, and that's the easy way to destroy the guys on the levels. And that brings us to the end of the single player experience, and after that you are presented with a cute end of level section. The single player experience will take you quite a while to do, quite a number of hours, but the good thing is if you have a number of friends you'll find this. This is the second aspect of the game. This is the multiplayer, and as you can see, up to 5 players can play the multiplayer scenario at the same time, 4 of which on joystick if you have a multi-port joystick adapter which fits into a PC or an Amiga parallel port, which I have, and 1 player can play on the keyboard, allowing 5 in all. It gets really hectic, particularly have a number of players all fighting against each other. The bomb blasts go all over the screen, and you have to not only watch where you lay your own bombs, but everybody else's as well. And the bonus sections, these sections are also thick with icons. You can pick up many bomb blast extensions and multi-bombs straight away. But you don't have to have 5 players to enjoy the multiplayer experience. The battle mode can be accessed from the title screen, and you can select quite a number of options actually. So let's take a look at that. You can select deathmatch mode or normal mode, up to 5 players. We'll just select 2 for this, and you can also select how many games you play for a win. And just to give you a quick demonstration, there are enemies also on some of these levels, and they too can back you into corners, giving the player an easy win. And that gives you a nice championship winning Bomberman champion screen when you complete that level. But by far the most interesting aspect of Dynablaster is the 5-player simultaneous mode. So let's just sit back and enjoy this. There's just time to mention this. This is MasterBlaster, a public domain release, released in 1993, and the options screen gives you a lot more options than Dynablaster. It's basically the Dynablaster team competition mode, only this time you get to buy items from the shop. You start off with money, you can also find money and win money, and you can play up to 5 players using the multi-port adapter and the keyboard. And it's pretty similar really, up to 5 players can play all together. But there are bonus things like the Wheel of Fortune, which award money, and a different selection of power-ups make life interesting, including the Superman. But MasterBlaster, definitely worth tracking down if you like Bomberman. So thank you for viewing the Dynablaster review here on Lemon Amiga.